Hello, guys. Welcome back to TNTG with your favorite host, Uzamaka Harrison. And today we're going to be talking about the empathy in healthcare. Yes, you have me right. It's about that time we talk about these things because sometimes I feel like people maybe don't understand what it means to be empathetic towards other people, their colleagues, new nurses coming on board. We don't want to eat our youngs, right? So, yes, let's talk about empathy in healthcare and how it can go a long way towards making change in other people's lives. Empathy is the heart of healthcare. Whether you're a seasoned nurse, whether you're a new nurse, empathy it goes a long way to understanding your colleagues, your patients, and connecting with them. It really can change lives. But again, how often do we actually practice this thing called empathy? How do we support our new nurses coming on board? How do we show care? How do we support them? Now, this is where we're going to talk about all of those things in this video. So you better stay tuned and let's go. The power of empathy in healthcare, it's very powerful. Empathy in itself is just about understanding other people and putting yourself in somebody else's shoes. Like if this was me, it's like being assertive. Like if this is me, would I love to be treated this way? Would I love this person to talk to me this way? So that is simply what empathy means. Being in other people's shoes, putting yourself as though that person right there going through that is you. This goes a long way to saving lives. You don't know, like a lot of people in healthcare field are broken. Some people are just going through stuff. Our patients are going through stuff. Your colleagues are going through stuff. So when you come to work and you add to what they're already going through, then it becomes a huge problem or even a bigger problem. And some people don't know how to leave their problems at home and come to workplaces and act professional towards showing empathy to other people. And some people were not even raised. They don't even have the comprehension what it means to be empathy. Some people are just raised to be selfish. All they know is just selfishness. So today, let's dive into it. That even if you're in one of those categories that I just mentioned earlier, either you were raised to be selfish and you don't have a clue on how to be empathetic towards other people, your colleagues, your patients, and the new oncoming healthcare workers, like the new nurses coming on board, the new techs. Like every time I have any minutes of my time at work anywhere, I always try to encourage people about empathy. The power of empathy is something anyone can never take away from anybody. It changes. You know how they say that music connects everyone, no matter your religion, no matter who you are, no matter what you believe in. Once music is raised, everybody just connects. It's just that power of love. That is what empathy is to me. It is what it is. So now, whether you're a seasoned nurse, whether you're a new nurse coming on board, the power of empathy cannot be overemphasized. Okay? So the thing here is simple. Knowing that being empathetic can actually change the life of your colleagues and the oncoming nurses, like the new nurses, the ability to connect to your patients, your colleagues, its power is that powerful. In this video, we're going to dive deep into what empathy feels like in healthcare, how it improves patient care and workplace culture, ways to make new nurses feel welcomed and supported, tips for fostering a more compassionate work environment. If you have ever felt burnt out, unappreciated, unheard, and you don't know how to connect with your patients and your colleagues through compassion, now this video is for you. Yes, you heard me right. Now come together. Let us build a work environment that is filled with kindness, empathy, and love that will make people to come into this profession and be the best that they can in every aspect of it. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and join the conversation. First thing first is, what is empathy and why does it matter in healthcare? See, empathy in itself is understanding somebody else and putting yourself in that person's shoes. It's as simple as that. It means it goes beyond seeing a patient, for example, and knowing what their diagnosis is, and you see them beyond the diagnosis and you try to connect with who the person is, regardless of what the situation might be. In that moment, you are offering your comfort, your reassurance to the patient. You're providing you're providing them with the best you're providing them with the best advice you can give as a nurse. You can find them doctors that they need to talk to because sometimes they are so frustrated like families. You offer them reassurance and comfort and understanding in their moment of grief and uncertainty. And that is what healthcare is. That's what nursing is. Being able to help people, being able to support. Because a lot of times when we go into nursing school and we are being interviewed, why did you choose the nursing field? Or why do you want to work for us? Oh, because I love helping people. But again, do we really know how to help people? Or is it what we're saying because other people are saying that? So to be really helpful to patients, to yourself, to your colleagues, you have to have empathy. It's something that one has to develop. You have to be intentional about it. Because yes, in healthcare, you can get easily burnt out. I have been there. For example, just imagine a patient being diagnosed with cancer, and you come into the room as a nurse, and all you're talking about is, my name is blah 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 blah. I'm here to give you a medication and da da da. You do assessment, even though they are crying. You just do assessment and you give them the medication and you walk off. In that moment of just spending just extra 1 minute to be like, hey, how are you doing? What's going on? Why are you crying? Or why are you sad? Is everything okay? Is there anything I can do to make it better? Those things are what really is important. We are so busy in healthcare. Yes, sometimes we are so much overpowered with patients. We are so much, like the ratio, it can be crazy sometimes. But again, you can have 1 minute. You create out, if you are going to spend 10 minutes with your patient, maybe about 2 minutes is like, how are you feeling? Like, genuinely, how are you today? Is everything okay? Is there anything you want to talk about? Do you have any concerns? How was your sleep? Did you sleep good? How is your mood? These are things I try to ask. And I sit down, I try for them to know, like, oh, I'm not standing up, I'm not in a hurry. Even though the back of my head, I know I'm working with time, so I can be able to take care of other patients as well. But that ability to make them feel needed, wanted, appreciated, loved, cared for, it's very important. Even you as a nurse, when you get home, you're happy that you did the best you can do for today. Imagine that. I just try to acknowledge the fears of my patients, acknowledge their fears. It's very important. Be there for them. And for me, I just love my Bible in Ephesians that told us to be kind and compassionate towards one another. It's just my logo. And of course, somebody was telling me the other day, also you're such a very kind person, but I don't know why people usually have problem with you. I said, it's not that they have problem with me. They have problem that I'm very truthful and I speak my mind the way I feel. That's just it. It's not like they have a problem. It's that I challenge the things that are not right. Because I'm not going to sit down and watch you treat me or any other person in the wrong way. But these days, I tend to really mind my damn business, right? The role of empathy in patient care. Patient feels very heard and understood when you spend that time with them, talk to them, encourage them, acknowledge their fears, be kind to them, explaining things to the best of your ability. They feel really heard. They trust you even more to open up to you as a nurse or as a doctor or as the one taking care of them. It goes a long way. It makes them feel less anxious. Their anxiety that they had when they came in, they don't know where to go from here. They don't know if they're gonna die, But when you take your time to love on them, comfort them, it really do reduce their anxiety. And in the end, all of this leads to a better patient outcome. And we all know that. There are some times like you're treating people, you are dumping their medication here and there, and nothing is working because most times their mindset is all like messed up. They are just confused. But when you start to talk to them, therapy, and it's just how I approach healthcare in my own sense. Everybody don't got to be like me, but this is what I believe that healthcare is all about, is to get people's mind right first, and then medication helps. For example, There was a time I was working, and a patient was supposed to have a procedure done that day, surgery. And this patient is supposed to have had that teaching for like about 3 times, either 3 times or 2 times. Before surgery, you're going to be addressed. Right before you go into your surgery, you're going to be addressed. That means everything about your procedure, what can happen, advantages, disadvantages, and effects, and all of that. And up until 1 hour to her surgery, nobody has even had the time to explain it to her. The doctor haven't seen her. And when I came, I assumed care with her that morning. She was crying. I don't want to do this. My family don't know what I'm doing, where I'm going. And she was all over the place. But mind you, the nurse that I took over from told me, "Oh my God, she's such a difficult person." Da, 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 But I don't usually go by what I'm told about a patient in report, because I don't know how you reacted, how you treated that patient. I don't know if you're burnt out or just, I don't know. So I treat people from, just generally, this is me speaking, just me as a person. I don't care what Mr. A said about you. It doesn't matter to me. What matters to me is who you are to me, how you treat me. Even though what I've heard about you is at the back of my head, I'm trading with caution. But again, I try to know you as who you are to me. So that's how I approach my patients. I come in the morning. I want to know you from who you are, how you treat me, how we relate with one another from that day. And I realized that this patient was just angry because no one is explaining the procedure for her. She's scared. She's terrified. So I told her, I just comforted her. I acknowledged her fears, and I said, I'm going to do the best I can to make sure that you get help. I don't even want you to leave your room without being told what procedure you're going for, how it's going to happen. And I know that even before you go into the surgery, before they take you do your consent form, they're going to teach you about the whole thing. And but she wants to know before she gets down there, and she has a right to know at least twice before the surgery, and with her family with her. So I called the doctor and I reached out, say, hey, this patient is upset. She says she's not coming for surgery. And I know that with all of this time happening, 30 minutes is already gone, but it's about 15 or 30 minutes remaining. In fact, the cart already arrived to pick her up. She says she's not coming because no one has taken the time to explain to her what procedure she's going for. And the doctor was like, oh my God, I didn't know. I said, man, I didn't go to start blaming, but I mean, you're the one doing the surgery. What do you mean you don't know? Right? So he came immediately and explained to the patient, because he was like, oh, can the patient come down? We're going to explain to her before we actually do the surgery with her family. I said, she says she's not leaving this room, no matter what anybody says. Guess what? The doctor, thank God, came, explained to her and her family in the room. This woman became very nice, kind, relaxed, and they wheeled her out for her procedure. And when she came back, she was so nice. She was so thankful. Her family gifted me, with a card. They got me a card and gave it to me. Just those words, it means a lot. You know, just making that little difference in somebody's life. That's what empathy is. Why is empathy very crucial among nurses and healthcare teams? One of the things there is that it reduces work stress. That workload, it really reduces it. Imagine seeing a fellow nurse and be like, hey, how is your day going? Do you need any help? Do you need somebody to help you? Are you overwhelmed? And they say, oh yeah, I need somebody to do this, and you are able to help, or you can find someone who can support in that moment. Imagine the pressure that you have lifted off somebody's shoulder. You make them feel belonged in that moment. And this also prevents burnout of nurses. It's not only a patient that deserves to be heard. Nurses want to be heard too. We want to be loved. We want to know that somebody really cares. It also builds strong team. Like the team the unit I work right now, I know something happened a few weeks ago that made me kind of feel indifferent about some situation. However, when it comes down to teamwork, do we really build as a team? Yes, we are teamwork. Everybody help each other. Do you need help? Somebody helps you. It doesn't matter if they like you or not. And that's why I love the unit where I am working right now. Every other thing to me is preamble. So building a strong teamwork is important. There are some things we can't take out of healthcare, like the gossip. No matter how much you talk about it, people will still be who they are. Even if you teach from today to tomorrow, people that don't want to change will still be who they are. But the best I can do is to appreciate the teamwork that we have. So always be that nurse who always have that reality check. When you see someone struggling, don't laugh. Don't make fun of them. Hey, she's struggling. You're laughing that, oh, maybe they're going to get in trouble for not doing this or doing that. Instead of being that person, be the person that will bring your change. Okay, there's this guy I work with, right? He's always trying to be a manager. He has that dream of being a manager someday. But again, whenever he's talking to people, the way he talks down on people, the way he abuses people, and just makes fun of everyone, it's very ridiculous. And I wondered sometimes to myself, like, how do you say you're going to be a nurse manager with this behavior? And then you always talk so bad about the job, and you are laughing at people when they are struggling. In my mind, if you become a nurse manager and I know you, I'm just gonna quit. I can't be there because you're just filled with so much hate, chaos, and you're very childish. A lot of people on my unit at the time, like, if he ever becomes a manager, we are gonna leave this place. Da, 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 you know, just because of that behavior. So if you're like this person, don't be like that person. And if you're that person and you're seeing this video and you have an inclination that's you, well, welcoming and supporting new nurses and how to show them support. Normally, like, every new nurse fears this imposter syndrome, fear, anxiety, being in a new environment. I don't know if I'm going to be accepted. I don't know if I'm going to make a mistake. And the best way is to show them love, care, and support. I've been there. When you come into a place, like, you don't know, are they going to like me? Are they really going to care? Are they going to teach me? Is somebody going to support me? Are they waiting for me to make a mistake and lose my license? Every new nurse, or a lot of nurses, I would say new nurses I know, always have this fear, anxiety. Being patient with them is very important. Letting them know that it's okay to have those feelings, but over time, you'll be fine. Offering encouraging words, not tearing them down. It's also going to help. Remember, before you became a seasoned nurse, you were once like them. And people who usually don't feel like that a lot of times are people who, like, maybe they were senior techs or technicians, like nurses, helpers, aides, or helpers, or whatever your country calls it, and they are working on that unit already. So they're already used to the units and stuff like that. But when you're coming in from somewhere into that unit, it can be very fearful. Even just normally just changing jobs, even just coming into a new environment, see somebody, even if you've been a nurse for years, just changing jobs, going to somewhere else can be very terrifying at times. So these are one of the ways you can also support them. Avoid being toxic. No bullying. I don't like bullying. I do not tolerate bullying at all. It's very ridiculous. Like, one of the times where a nurse was telling me, I don't want to go to this unit. I say, why? I say, because every time you go to that unit, all they talk about there is how they are going to run out a new nurse or run somebody out, because why? I don't know. It's very pathetic. Why are you running a new nurse out? Didn't you struggle as a new nurse? And she was like, we are laughing, like literally laughing, that they ran out a new nurse that came to be on their unit. And now if you don't have enough nurses and they have to pull me from my unit to come and help you guys. And she said she didn't want to be there. I'd say I'm glad that somebody, thinks the way I think. And one of the times we were also having a conversation, one of our unit colleagues, nurses, said, oh, there's this girl that came up here. She's not meant to be a bedside nurse. It felt like somebody put a gun, like put a bullet in my head. I said, what do you mean? That was the first time I'm ever talking on that unit since I got there. I'm like, what do you mean? I said, no. It's either the preceptor is a very horrible preceptor, or that you people just don't want her to succeed. But because who are you to tell somebody she's not supposed to be better? That's her dream. If it wasn't her dream, she wouldn't have come here. It is your bad attitudes as a person. Just look at the way you just said it right now. Just the energy I felt from you just saying that. Imagine the person you were trying to percept, how she felt. It must have been a very horrible experience for her. And you are saying that she's not qualified to be a bedside nurse. She better go somewhere else. And then people were like, oh my God, you didn't talk to her like that. You don't talk to her. She's an alpha. I said, no, to me, like in my head, you are no alpha male, or alpha female. You are not anything close to being alpha female because you are filled with so much negativity. To be an alpha anything, just take, for me as a Christian, just God, like we call alpha, he's the omega, right? We know the we don't even comprehend the whole of his love, but the inch of his love that we can feel, we know what it means to be an alpha. That's to take a position of love. That's what an alpha means. I'm a protector. Like if you go to the zoo or you go to the jungles, right? You're going to see the lion, or in the movie, how the king protects its own. Look at Lion King, you know, how Simba protects his children. So to be an alpha is to be a protector and not a destroyer. So when people say I'm an alpha male and you're ridiculous, you're an alpha female and you're ridiculous, you're feminist and you are ridiculous, you're mean, you trash talk people, you pull people down, you are nothing close to being an alpha. You are just a simple narcissist. That's who you are. And after that, she didn't talk to me for a while, and I didn't care. And everybody was like, "Oh my God, you stood up to her. Why wouldn't I?" And this is one of the things I see in healthcare. People often tend to be more of cowards. Everybody just talk behind everybody's back, and then the few ones who stand up to those evil behaviors or bad characters are perceived as being bad. And then to be honest, even you that is right there trying to question that kind of behavior, even though they know that that behavior of that person is not right, guess what? They will publicly be supporting that person because they're afraid of her. But you that spoke the truth, they start to treat you like, "Mm." But guess what? I've always been a one man squad. I don't need extra to be who I am. Let's not digress. Let's keep going. Ways to foster a more empathetic nursing culture is active listening. Don't just hear, but actively listen to patients and your coworkers. Put yourselves in people's shoes. You, as a person, put yourself in somebody's shoes. If this was me, would I love to be treated this way? Practice kindness daily. Smile. Give a kind word. Ask, do you need help? Can I be of help? And truly mean it. Lead by example, especially for senior nurses or seasoned nurses, because whatever you do, the nurses behind you will see that. The tone that you people set is how people, will other new nurses or the other nurses coming on board will lead. For example, when I came into the first unit I worked, it was filled with so much toxicity among the older nurses there. And then some of the new nurses that came along joined the whole thing. It just won about one nurse there, older nurse there, that was really kind. The rest was just, it was horrible. So everybody that came along joined the majority of what they see because they don't want to, be left out. So they would rather be with the bandwagon because that's, what people do most of the time in the world of today. Then I moved to another unit. I came up there, I made teamwork. I joined the teamwork because that's what I've been looking for. And let's even assume it's someone who doesn't like teamwork, always try to bash people, and you come up there and you say that this place is a place of teamwork. There's no way you can live outside of that because literally everybody there is practicing teamwork. How would you want to be the one singled out? So you see, when you set the tone of a place, it becomes that. That's how important it is. So you as a person, as a nurse, as a healthcare team, try in every way possible to be that person. Have an open, conversations. Encourage open up conversation. How are you today? Is everything okay? Oh, you're looking so sad today. Is everything good with you? All of these things can really go a long way to help. And it fosters a positive environment as well than a negative one. Empathy is something that we all need. You might feel, oh, I don't need it right now. I don't care about it. I don't give a care to it. Someday you will need it. And another thing is, please, when you are going through stuff at home, when you get to work, please keep it at home. Keep your behavior at home. Don't bring your toxicity at work. Don't try to make people's life look miserable because you're miserable. Sometimes I'll be going to work. I am going through 10,000 thoughts in my mind. I'm trying to put my word together. And I come to work. Most days like that, how I feel is to be quiet. I don't speak. I just do my stuff and just trying to get my day. If somebody asks for help, I just help you. You see me, I'm quiet. I just don't talk because I don't want to give that energy out. You know? And sometimes there's this lady, she always say, hey, Uza, is everything okay? Now I'm just going through a bunch of thoughts in my mind. I'm trying to, keep my mind together. I say, oh yeah, yeah, that's why, yeah, nothing. But instead of coming to work, you're acting out and you're taking it as an excuse. No. There's this lady I know, like she's always not just her, a lot of people. They'll come to work, they are so filled with negativity. They're trying to tear people down. Okay, there's this girl I heard her story. I work with her in a particular hospital. I don't know her very well, but somebody, that knows her. But it's so sad how this lady, lost her job. She's a new nurse. She just started. And the way she was so much bullied, she was having constant heavy anxiety that she started even like an IV medication that to the point she didn't even remember for the whole 12-hour shift that the IV wasn't running. That is horrible. Because literally, when you said an IV, you start an IV, right? At least it gives you time to, 12 hours. You have to go back in to check on the patient, see if the IV is done. Sometimes even the IV will start to blink. But probably it was even blinking, or maybe it didn't even start, or maybe somebody will just go there and turn it off and not even call you. It sounds like somebody is making up the story, but these are the things that can happen. I've caught someone before trying to chart on my Epic just because I left my computer open for just 1 second, just to run and answer a red light that was on. A call light, red is emergency, and I was running, only for me to come back and say, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing in my Epic? What are you trying to do? To track what I didn't put in there? And he was like, that's I'm just trying to look for what? I was like, you're always upset. I said, yes, I'm always upset on this unit because I don't trust any of you. You people have shown me how ridiculously mean that you people can be. So yes, I'm always I'm always uptight. I am. I'm very defensive. I'm protecting myself because I can't trust any of you. And this has been a very huge problem on med-surg units, not just in my hospital, in a lot of hospitals. It's horrible. And then you expect us to keep coming to work? Be nice to people. Be nice. Be kind. It goes a long way. It might even heal you as a person what you're going through. I understand that people go have traumas. I mean, you're not the only one that have trauma, right? But it's not everybody that has trauma that come to work and try to destroy and tear other people down. It's not everybody that have a bad marriage that comes at work and pass out and just try to destroy other people. It's not everybody who is going through life in a horrible way. There's this girl I knew at work. The day I got to know she was homeless and has been living in her car for the past how many months? So shocking. But she carried it well. So well. And I'm like, oh my God. And I started helping her to look for an apartment. I don't know her from anywhere. Just conversation. Just, hey, I heard your accent. Where are you from? Originally, I said, I'm from Nigeria. And then I felt her energy that she was asking me genuinely. And the one she would ask me, I said, well, you have your phone. Let's Google it and see. So before, and I thought I said before you ask somebody some certain question about their culture, they might perceive you that you're insulting them. First of all, Google it, ask your phone, right? And we had that very wonderful open conversation. Someone she doesn't know. I don't know her. I was able to step in and help her. And we figured it out. She found an affordable apartment and she moved in before winter came, because she literally just came out of a very horrible relationship. Every time she sees me, she keeps talking to her friend. Hey, this lady, it's awesome. She's this. It makes me feel happy. I won't lie. But again, I hope that people that hears what she's saying will understand what it means to be empathetic towards people. You never know. Like my parents will always say, the people that you saw going up, you better be kind to them. Because when you're coming down, you never know who you might meet. This is not just for healthcare workers, but to everybody. Be kind. Love is truly kind. So before you say that word, before you put out that rumor, before you start that complaint, before you start that lies, just make sure to ask yourself, if this was me that this is being done to, how would I feel? So let's join this conversation. Tell me what your experience has been like, how we can even improve and talk about empathy in a more deep and detailed way. Join this conversation. It's important. Tell us how you have experienced empathy from one colleague or the other, or how you have shown to somebody else. Comment below, like, share, and I will see you guys next time. I see your favorite girl, Uzamaka Harrison. See you next time.